Hi, I'm Chelsea. I work as a nurse at Seattle Children's Hospital and been living in Seattle for about 10 years without a car. And it always seemed like a pretty costly expense. And there's other things I'd rather spend my money on. I've also always been concerned about the environmental impact of gas and how we fuel the oil needs we have as a country. I think a lot of times people think about housing and transportation as these two separate costs in their lives, and we hear a lot about affordable housing is 30% of your total budget or your discretionary income or whatever. And I saw this really interesting report recently talking about housing affordability being more about housing costs plus your transportation costs. So I know at certain points in my life I've often spent a little bit more on housing than some of my classmates or my coworkers, because I've chosen to live in neighborhoods that have good bus lines or close to work or close to grocery stores, the things I need. But when you look at the housing plus transportation number, I've always come out at least a few $100s ahead a month.
I think one of the biggest benefits for undriving is that you get to know your community so much better because you see what's around you more than you would in a car.
I think for just about anywhere you want to go, especially in an urban area like where we are now, there's always a way to get there. You just sort of have to figure it out.
So one of the new things that's happened with technology is applications such as this, which a lot of my friends have, One Bus Away, which lets you see what buses are coming to your stop soon in real time. And it's one of the things that makes me most interested in maybe getting a smartphone and considering that part of my transportation budget, particularly when I'm traveling to new cities, and make it really easy to see what their transit systems are like.
But I think it's about realizing that you can use your time differently. I have a lot of coworkers comment that I read all the time and I love to read. And they say, how can you possibly read so much? And I say, well, I have this bus commute all the time and I always have a book on the bus. I just couldn't imagine spending, 40 minutes a day in a car where obviously you can't be reading your book while you're driving to work. And it's a much more enjoyable way for me to spend my morning. I think when people find out I don't have a car, their responses vary a whole bunch. And I think I've seen the full range of people that just think that I'm absolutely crazy and or very, very poor and just can't afford a car. To people that sort of find it inspirational and want to get tips on how to reduce their family's car usage, to a whole lot of people sort of in my generation that most of the people I know don't own a car themselves or use one very rarely for vacations, and so they just sort of see it as that's just life.
I'm Chelsea and I'm an Undriver.